Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Lore Ramblings. Because I'm Adam, and I am doing this on, I think, without 26 hours of sleep. I feel like I just chugged an entire stub's worth of booze. It's going to be interesting to do in this condition, let me tell you.
And I'm Tech Priest, and I'm here against my will.
Look, what do you think would be better for the audience? Me by myself rambling insanely because as of right now, I legally cannot drive. That is how long I have stayed awake. Fun fact, if you stay up long enough, the way you act is like if you just chugged a fuckload of booze or took a big bong rip. That's where I am right now. Do you really want the audience to be subjected to that? I'm already
No.
unfocused without the effects of sleep deprivation. So, I decided that since it's just the day after A New Hope was released, that the actual celebration for the holidays, by the way, for the Star Wars holidays, not May 4th. May the 4th is such a fucking lie. I decided that instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cover one of the West End games. Uh, West End games, Star Wars, I should say, because there's other West End games, like there's the Men in
There's a
Black
lot of
West
other
End.
Western games.
Yeah, there's the Men in Black one. What else did they do? They did a lot of properties. I think they did a Star Trek one.
I think you're thinking of FASA for that, though I wouldn't be
FASA
surprised
did
if
FASA did Star Trek. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that FASA had the Star Trek license at some point, but I wouldn't be surprised if West End also picked it up.
West End picked up a ton of games before just flopping over and dropping dead, and that's where we
Which
are.
is actually kind of surprising. It's one of those things where it's like everybody's sort of that knows about Star Wars RPGs knows about the D6 game. But it's actually genuinely hard to get a hold of nowadays without going yar har fiddly dee.
And that's actually why I'm gonna have to warn you guys. You're not really gonna see the book that much because the rights are a bit iffy, and well,
We don't want the mouse to come and break our kneecaps.
I mean, they already thanked a Chinese detention center. What the fuck makes you think they're gonna do anything kinder to us? So instead, here's Rich Evans looking like a horrifying monster. Originally, I was going to use other images, but either they caused epilepsy or I probably would be banned even
Probably would
faster.
be banned. I mean, look, Rich Evans, as we all know, fucking loves Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars was great, and then the sequel trilogy came.
It's like the sequel trilogy has this trajectory, right? Where it's like, it isn't that bad. Then,
Well, no,
oh
no,
my
no.
god.
No, the badness is hidden. It's like a. You ever go to one of those? You ever go to one of those kebab shops where the clearly slightly off, doner kebab is hidden by all the nice spices like cardamom and little bits
Yeah.
of the heat, and you're like, oh, this is so good, and then 5 hours later you're sobbing on that. That is the Force Awakens. Straight up, that is legitimately the Force Awakens in a nutshell. Because it's fine until you watch it again.
It's fine going down, coming back up, not so much.
Also, could you distract them? Great timing. Great timing.
So, one of the fun things about the W6 games is that they're genuinely designed to be as simple as possible to run and to teach people how to play. They're designed to be played usually with the same dice that you have running around your house. This is part of the reason why Shadowrun kind of leaned into the D6 games. This is why MechWarrior did it as well. D6s are incredibly common because every single goddamn board game in existence uses them. You don't need to use a D20 or a D8 or whatever the fuck, a D4. Like it's a simple way to monitor things. It's why a lot of these companies that release them have gone with that. The other thing with this in particular is that it's kind of just a neat little system that makes sense. It's not overly complicated. It's not more in depth than it needs to be.
Don't worry,
It's
I was able to talk off the Disney hitman from assassinating me. It's fine.
it even in this adventure goes like, if you want to scale back the difficulty here, you feel free. Like this is about having fun.
Where were you since you were starting in the book, which is pretty
I'm
neat?
in the introduction. So I was talking about like in this adventure.
Oh yeah,
In this
group of
adventure,
rebels. Yep.
a group of rebels intercepts a message meant for Princess Leia and her companions, the heroes of Yavin. A message tells of a new discovery in the Alderaan system and the ruins of the planet itself. The royal palace of Alderaan has been found within a huge asteroid, still mostly intact, and its yet unopened interior may hold the fate of the royal household. Leia's adopted family.
Yeah, isn't that kind of neat? Where you're actually going to this essentially grave, literally mass grave.
And basically, you're all going here, and it's a race,
It's
and
not
make
only a
sure.
race, but there's probably some real dark, horrifying things down there.
Yeah.
Oh, hey
And
Primarch, you got here late, but that's fine. The stream essentially was set up a bit late. This system is West End Games. For those wondering, there are a variety of systems for Star Wars. The one that is most common right now you'd be familiar with is Edge of Empires. It's also called Age of Rebellion. And I think there's a third iteration of it. That uses a D6 system as well, but it has its own proprietary dice. It does give you the rule set for using a normal D6 system, though. It's pretty good. It does have a negative side effect where sometimes you'll get like 20 advantages and then like 0 hits. So you could be like full auto blastering some dude. Like you clearly have a gajillion advantages. You've shot the weapon out of their hands. You made them fall on their face. They're sobbing for their mother. You've done every way possible to destroy them, except they're not dead yet because you've done no damage.
it's
And
the weirdness
it's
of the system. Yeah,
hilarious,
it is funny though. Yes.
frustrating but hilarious. It's not quite as bad as the old World of Darkness setup where
Where
you only
you can
needed
hit somebody in
six.
the face with yeah, you can hit somebody in the face with the chainsaw and do no damage.
Well, actually, that game punishes you for having too many dice, in my experience.
Yeah, it's one of the weird things about it where it does do that. It's like, hey, you're rolling, the more dice you roll, the more likely you are to roll ones. And tens, while they are just as likely to give you successes, so it sort of balances out a little bit,
Not
but not
really,
really.
in my experience. It's a very quick tangent since I'm bringing up weird dice systems. I had a player. This was in one of my very first. This is literally. I mentioned it. It's the same disastrous storyteller campaign that was my first, where I gave him the corpse of Yeshua ben Yosef the Nazarene. Jesus' corpse. That was a bit of a
Yeah.
dumpster, but uh,
Well, it's a dumpster fire because you gave them Jesus's corpse. I mean, if that happened in a game, I'd be like, okay, what the fuck? What the fuck is happening?
oh come on! This is the same setting where where Cain became a vampire and Lucifer's
Yeah,
kind of a
but
good guy.
the thing is that Jesus doesn't. Oh my God, you don't actually leave a corpse, right? Like half the point of the resurrection is that he doesn't leave a fucking body in the
I don't know
ascension.
why people bring up the resurrection and ascension like it means any fucking thing when they already gave the Bible a big solid dicking in the pants. It doesn't matter. That was my
Don't matter.
logic back then.
None of this matters.
It don't matter. None of
It
this
don't matter.
matters.
None of this matter.
Hey Jim. But anyway, just to get onto it, simply put, that poor player, he maxed out fortitude. He was playing Adventure Bodyguard. Poor bastard kept getting like 4 1s, so it didn't matter. He never soaked. His
He never
soak rolls,
soaks any damage.
he had 10 soak, and at no point did the dice ever play with him. I remember there was one time he got 7 1s.
Wow.
He was frailer than the goddamn ghoul they brought along with him. At least in terms of soak damage, he never was able to take up it. And that is why, honestly, the ones taking away successes, that's why Chronicles sometimes is considered better. Because that
Yeah,
shit doesn't happen.
it's one of those weird things where it's like Chronicles has this weird tendency to be kind of swingy, where it's like either you're doing a lot of damage or it's like you're just not going to hit anything. So
Meanwhile, conversely, the Bruja Battle Beasts were able to instantly one-shot an Elder. Okay.
yeah. Meanwhile,
Okay.
Old World of Darkness Bruja, haha, punch go whoosh.
Or alternatively, they roll like 8 ones and their arms explode out of their sockets like fucking Deku's did in My Hero.
Yeah.
But okay, back to Star Wars. I mentioned Edge of Empires. It has the D6 system similar to West End, but not quite. Then there's the D20 variant, which uses the D&D open game license to exist. That one's probably the most played, but honestly, it had the least amount of support, and for very good reason.
Yeah.
Um,
Then there's
then there's West Ends, which has dice pool.
yeah, and it's not like dice pool systems are bad.
Oh no,
By
I
the
mean,
contrary, I think the dice pool systems are really the balance point in a lot of, especially when you're dealing with like D6s and things like that. It's just that it's got its own idiosyncrasies like every other dice pool system.
and also it is rife for abuse because the way it works is you can make some intensely lopsided characters in West End. But conversely, one of the reasons why I think West End game Star Wars is probably one of the better ones is if you really like Star Wars lore, at least the old stuff before it got canned, this stuff is the repository. There's shitloads of stuff. Like
The, the,
you want to do an adventure in the Maw? Do you even know what the Maw is? If you do, well, you can. There's a book about it.
yeah, it's
Do
like,
you want to
do you want
deal
to do
with
this?
Thrawn?
Here you
Sure.
go.
Here's Thrawn's book. Do you want to fight Glub Shido? Here you go. Here's Glub Shido's book.
I forgot about Glub.
Everyone forgets about Glub, man. So to prepare to play before the opening credits roll and the session is a little bit of it's a little cute. It's a little cute.
Yeah,
The game master must do first. The game master, who should be the only one currently reading these words.
should read through the entire adventure.
No one tells me what to read.
No one tells me what to read, but it's only a 60-page
Never
book,
tell me the
so
odds, kid.
and then again, as I said, they go over the difficulty number scale. They talk about the adventure background, where they're like, okay, if you haven't for some reason seen Star Wars,
Yeah, like if for some if some cataclysmic accident, like
you're playing this and you haven't seen Star Wars. I knew a guy in college who had never seen Star Wars.
Jesus Christ.
I'm dead serious. He had never seen Star Wars.
Like I can understand maybe only seeing like one of them somehow.
No, none of them. None of the movies. He'd never seen Star Wars.
Jesus.
We all gave him shit about it.
Yeah, I mean he's laughing now.
Yeah, he's laughing now because we have to read this. So,
No, he's laughing now because look at what happened to that Star Wars hotel that looked like a North Korean detention
oh,
center.
oh no! Don't. We don't talk about that.
I thought you were going to
We
say, don't compare it to a North Korean detention center. That has better accommodations.
I was about to say, like, a North Korean detention center is probably only slightly less pleasant.
Well, I mostly feel bad for the performance crew because they were the only ones that, like, actually made the $6,000. Not worth it at all, but at the very least, you felt like you got a few hundred, like a few dozen dollars out of it because Disney kept cutting out its performances. No, seriously, like,
Yeah,
that's one of the first things that always gets cut. Disney has a bad habit of doing it.
it's also that it's like I they're using it to push the new trilogy, which is part of the problem.
Which is funny. Well, no. The problem is they didn't have a goddamn plan. And originally, the park was supposed to actually be a mixture of new and old trilogy, and even prequels a bit. And then they had the giga-brained idea because A Force Awakens did really well. Well, we don't need any of this shit because we don't want to pay any royalties to George Lucas. I'd rather have 100% of nothing than 80% of something.
Wasn't Lucas's deal like just literally he'd get 20% or something like that?
It's basically, yeah, if you use any of my characters, I get a bit of a royalty. You know, like
Which
your average, like literally what the average writer would get, like just basic royalties. Probably at a
yeah,
larger percent since he created the big
probably at
money machine.
50%. Which at the same time, it's Star Wars. It's going to print money if you do that. It doesn't matter that you're not getting the whole cut. You're getting a huge chunk of it.
But you don't understand. I'd rather have 100% of nothing than 50% of a
Fucking
lot of money.
corporations.
Also, yeah, West End did create names of a lot of species. I don't really know
They
which
did.
one. Oh yeah, Twi'leks were named by this. This is where Twi'leks came from. That's a good one.
Twi'leks, yeah, like there's a lot of just weird things about the West End series where it's like it has a lot of the stuff that it's like, oh, that's also in here. It's
Well, no, not
pretty
only that, but
fucking
some of the
nuts.
stuff that you know by name came from here.
Well, I don't know if it came from here or if it was like we had access to
Oh
what
no,
the writers were
Twi'leks
writing.
literally that the name Twi'lek for the race with the tentacle heads.
Yeah,
That's
that actually came from West End,
they
which
were named from the yeah. That's where they got the name
that
from.
that kind of blows my mind a little bit because they're mentioned in basically every like the you've seen like the visual reference guide, right? Like if you
Yeah.
were a kid and you were into Star Wars, you probably at some point checked that out from your local library, where they talk about like all the
And
race
this
names and
this
all that
random
and the
tabletop
cutaways.
game came up with the name.
Yeah, which is genuinely kind of nuts to me.
Not really to me because remember we all know what Ewoks are called, but they're never called that in the film at all. They're just known as the
That
locals.
that is true.
I mean,
That is true.
technically, there was a big weird boom because they had the costumes and they were dirt cheap to make like grungy fantasy films with. By the way, I'm
Yep.
not kidding. Like the Graveyard of Alderaan, like grave robbing Leia's adopted parents' house. That sounds
Haha.
crazy, but that ain't nothing compared to some of the shit in the expanded universe. Like there was a dude whose hatred was so powerful he blew up planets with it. And then there's the time that some teddy bears fought an evil mountain with magic. Now let's not forget the time that the Luke Skywalker got trapped in the Matrix and had relations with a digital ghost. We don't talk about
Yeah,
that.
we don't talk about that.
We also
We don't
don't
talk
talk
about a
about
lot of Star Wars,
we also don't talk
honestly.
about the time that Han Solo hung out with a green rabbit.
We don't talk about the time that Han Solo went to the planet of the space otters.
Yeah.
That happened. That happened in order to hit on Leia. By the way.
Hey, remember the
Oh
time
wait.
Luke Skywalker fought a bunch of dinosaurs armed with guns?
Hey, remember the time when there was a three-eyed clone son of Emperor Palpatine?
I remember. Hey, remember the time that they actually did the clone arc with Emperor Palpatine 1,000 times smarter than they did the
No, it was still
sequels?
incredibly retarded.
Oh, it's
Like
still god awful, but at the very least, it didn't completely invalidate Vader's sacrifice.
I wouldn't even call it like
Oh,
it,
they
it was
actually
still
came up with
terrible.
the name Mace Windu. It's just he wasn't played by Samuel L. Jackson at that point, huh? He was a rabbit man, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, to
Oh,
keep
hey,
in mind,
remember when the Moth's official greeting is dark greetings?
I
This is
don't
this is
remember that.
legitimately a thing. This is legitimately a thing from the Trioculus novels, which they literally have the Moffs meet in the Grand Moffrent. That is the
Oh
actual
shit! Yeah, now I
name.
remember.
And
Yeah.
their first words are dark
Dark
greetings,
greetings.
which is like, how did anyone in the Empire think that they were working for a good cause ever
They didn't. They
possibly
just said it
when
was
you
better.
go to the Grand Moffrent
They
and you
didn't.
have to say dark greetings?
They didn't. They just said at least. I mean, it's at least it's less shit than the Republic.
I don't even know if it's that. It's like
Ah, yes, I've embezzled
you can't
80% of the galactic budget to build this death weapon
to,
to fight the
to
Cenobite
fight the
Aztecs.
to fight the Cenobite Aztecs, which I will tell no one about.
Because I'm also going to use it to kill dissidents and make everyone fear me.
just she
Honestly, I
even
built it more for that than to fight the Cenobites.
even
But
the expanded universe, like she even the old expanded universe, I love him. Mostly because it's just I picture the robot chicken version of him doing all of these crazy super weapons. Where it's like he's just signing pieces of paper like, yes, of course I want the Sun Destroyer. That's why it's called the Sun Crusher. We've got a Sun Destroyer, but it doesn't destroy suns. Sorry, Star Destroyer, but it doesn't destroy stars. What? Well, I want a Sun Crusher that actually destroys suns. Make it a super
I
weapon.
was very disappointed when I saw the final blueprints. I killed every engineer involved in the Star Destroyer project. They lied to me.
They lied to me. Those bastards. Well, at least it was under budget. It's like, well, it was under budget, but they lied to me.
They lied to me. I was supposed to embezzle it to build a gigantic statue of myself on this planet.
Then he
No
sees
one
the Sun
but
Crusher, and he's
myself
like-
can see.
And he sees the Sun Crusher. He's like, "The fuck is this shit? What do you mean it crushes sun? It doesn't. The Death Star is huge, but this doesn't do anything. It's like it's tiny.
I'm
tiny
going
little
to
thing."
test the Sun Crusher on yourself.
Like legitimately, the Sun Crusher is a one-person ship. It is the most just like what vehicle in Star Wars.
I mean,
It is used exactly twice.
No, in its defense, isn't it also used by like the shittiest? Like, isn't it used by like Dala or something? And she's like one of the worst.
I can't remember who it is used.
I know
by.
Dala is an idiot.
know it is used. I know it is used, but I cannot remember for the life of me who. It was
Remember,
used by.
I'm massively sleep deprived, so.
All right, let's try to get through this then. So
But
that
no,
Adam
the adventure
can-
materials.
Adam
It's a
can go to
full-length
sleepy time.
adventure. It's a full-length adventure. There's a little mini game. Oh, there's a mini game where you fly through an asteroid belt. Oh, and they actually, a cool thing about this adventure splat is they very briefly, it kind of explain to you the basics of the game. I mean, you still probably want the core book, but it does give you at least the emergency. Well, fuck, how do I play? If say during the post-nuclear apocalypse, because Russia incompetently left nukes in Belgorod, and the and the fucking Ukrainians found it, and Russia panic nuked everything.
It's
And
really
you're crawling through the
I
waste.
still can't believe that over a year into a war, they left nuclear artillery shells within 4 kilometers of the border.
Oh, you like
They
the part where
legitimately did this, and they had to rush to get them out of the way because they were worried that a bunch of neo-Nazi LARPers were going to somehow cross the border and steal them.
I mean, the best part is within the span of like 5 hours, they conquered like 10 times more land than the Russians did in 10 months.
It is pretty funny, yes.
And you know that only happened on the day they were announcing the victory, just to fuck with them.
It's also to force the Russians to have to redeploy even more forces, because now if the border is porous enough that just random assholes in Humvees can stroll over it and threaten your nuclear stockpile.
No, the best part is the moment you even take like minimal offensive in Russia, remember their psyche is traumatized horrendously, so it's going to cause a titanic shit panic. And yeah, Jim, they left nuclear artillery shells.
Yes. Now the thing is that these shells, technically speaking, when these bunkers were made, were way behind the borders of the USSR. This was supposed to be a secure storage facility. However, in the modern day, it is 4 kilometers from the border of them in Ukraine.
Yuri,
so
do you think we should move these shells to the new bunker? Do you really want to spend time and effort in doing something that they clearly don't care about? I say let it lie. Sir, we're getting invaded. Oh fuck! Oh no!
Fuck! It is one of the dumbest fucking things.
It's actually almost as dumb. It's almost as dumb as throwing out the expanded universe and then taking the worst books from the expanded universe to build your own expanded universe off of. Disney, what were you smoking? Why did you use the Jedi Prince and bringing Palpatine back? Why'd you bring... Oh, man. So anyway, the way West End Games works is difficulty numbers. So you have D6 dice pulls, and the way it works is you have to beat a specific
You roll
number.
your dice pool. It's similar to how like the Game of Thrones Ronin RPG works, and I think that one is actually a reprint of an old WEG version of it. Uh,
Because they were dying by the time the first book came out.
they were dying. I wouldn't be surprised if they did do it. Is the thing
Or
because
like
it's a
they partially were working on it and then oh fuck, we went bankrupt. Here's the unfinished crap. Anyone want to take it so we can sell off assets
yeah make some money.
so we don't get sent to prison? So yeah, the way it works is you have a difficulty number. So for example, brain dead easy is like 3 to 5 because you literally can succeed on 1d6. And then extremely difficult is 21 to 30 because you need like 5d6 to even have a chance. So they give you some background in the event that, again, you've never seen Star Wars. You crawled out of the nuclear bunker into the wastelands of the Fallout universe, and you're like, okay, what is this Star Wars? Is this what led to the planet being what it is? And you find out no. Or maybe you learn that Earth was actually Alderaan. I don't know.
It was Alderaan this entire time.
So anyway, basically, if you've seen A New Hope, you know what fucking happened. So there's this for the for the almost no one who's
For the
seen.
3 people who are watching this who have never seen Star Wars, a planet called Alderaan gets blown up in the movie. And there's this fun line of, no, Alderaan's a peaceful planet. We have no weapons. and and he's like, well, good, that will make it a better demonstration, and fucking destroys it.
Yeah, the best part is it's not in the movie, but before then, what they would just do is take a bunch of these big ships called Star Destroyers, and then just essentially drive by the planet, bombing it into glass. So this is
Yeah,
just speed run any percent, complete total planet death.
this like Star Destroyer bombardments could leave a planet still technically habitable.
No, this is
This kind
just
of gets rid
erase
of it.
it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it got blowed up, and yeah, everyone died on it, at least as far as they were concerned. They then go into details about the events of how this weird farmer joined the space Taliban and blew it up.
Yeah. And of course, no one's ever really gone.
Yeah, no one's ever really gone. I mean, Alderaan got blown the fuck up, but it wasn't completely blown up. See, it got blown up into chunks, and you see, there's these things called asteroids. These are the chunks of like unformed planets. So what it did was it created, I don't know, would it be an asteroid field or not a belt? It'd be just like a random series of asteroids. I mean,
Yeah, like I
in
don't
the
even know.
stellar time sense, it'd become an asteroid belt eventually. I think it would, obligate into a fucking sphere. I don't know.
We don't know.
I literally I have 3 brain cells left, and 2 of them are arguing on whether or not I should just I don't know, roll on the floor or talk more about the embarrassing failure of Disney or Russia because they're comparable right now. So anyway, the synopsis of the adventures, it starts with the rebels enjoying a relaxing break aboard the Ithorians, which if you don't know what an Ithorian is, it's the big no-mouthed aliens with the hammerhead. You know, the brown aliens with the hammerhead with the red eyes and they don't got a mouth.
Well, if you've never seen Star Wars, this sounds like complete fucking nonsense.
Yeah, I know, this is kind of a nightmare if you've never seen Star Wars.
If you've never seen Star Wars, this book, I love it. This book tries to go, oh yeah, like
We're
here's the
assuming you
plot to Star
completely
Wars.
understand this.
And then, oh yeah, no, here's nothing about Star Wars whatsoever.
To give you an idea, this has the same energy as Disney's John Carter of Mars, where it's like, ah yes, John Carter of Jasum gets teleported to Barsum, where he is found by Tharks. He is then taken to their Jeddak, Talhajus. Like, you don't know what
It's like it's like the 1980s Doom movie intro, where they just try to speed run this massive lore.
They just
dump on
assume you instantly know this, so like, fuck you, just here you go.
The 80s Dune movie has Sting in it, so I can't hate it. But dear God, is it probably the worst movie that what's his name ever did?
To give you an idea,
David Lynch.
David Lynch legitimately completely disavowed the movie.
He did not like what happened.
Not only that, but I think he described it as a train wreck and a nightmare, just filming it.
Well, Dune itself had been a project in limbo for like 2 decades when they gave it to him, which is just What we got out of it is a scene with a man in a weird gimp outfit, then another guy getting electrocuted while Sting in another gimp outfit is stroking a hairless cat. This is actually in
Yeah,
the
this is
movie.
in the movie. You know who's also in the movie? Jean-Luc Picard with his pug.
That's true. Yes, I forgot about that. Patrick Stewart is in the movie.
With his pug. He has a pug.
What's triply funny is that there's actually one of the actors that was supposed to be in the movie that was before the current Dune movie is
Jodorowsky's. Yeah,
yeah, the
Jodorowsky's Dune.
Jodorowsky's Dune has a person who is cast to play I want to say Paul's mother that was that ended up being the main Bene Gesserit that you see in the start of the movie with the box. In the what's his name? Warehousen? Whatever the new Dune movie. I hate that we
Oh,
have to talk about three
Villeneuve.
Villeneuve's Dune, where it's like we've got three different kinds of Dune movies because there's one that was never made, one that was made that the author doesn't want to talk about,
He
like well,
forgot
not
the
the author, the director,
miniseries.
and then there's the miniseries on Sci-Fi, which why are we talking about Dune again?
Because Jim mentioned that that canonically Jar Jar exploded horribly into a violent mist of ash on Alderaan, apparently.
Canonically, yes, I think no. Canonically speaking, he fucking survived all the way to the New Order era. I'm
Oh
serious.
yeah, for Disney where he became a clown. In the old universe, they keep jokingly putting him into like death traps. There in Force Unleashed, he was trapped in
He was in
carbonite.
Carbonite, yeah. Anyway,
Also, yeah,
so
Primarch. They poisoned Mandalore, but they didn't, and then they ripped off Moria, and then they just expect you to follow Dave Filoni's Mandalorian waifu.
and then they made like I hate to say it, but the Travis idea where like the culture is completely shattered and a bunch of fucking nomads now is better than
Ka-
whatever the fuck Filoni did.
Karen Travis's Space Celts is an order of magnitude better than Dave Filoni's weird Death Watch fetish.
Yeah.
Anywho, the adventure synopsis: you go into the alien ship, and you know it's like you're at the bar, and then all of a sudden you
Yeah,
almost
and
get
all of
murdered.
a sudden,
Oh no, some
yeah,
rando gets murdered almost.
on the asteroid of 7785, for there to be held until Lord Vader arrives, and the
No,
climax
what
takes place.
7785? That's actually one of the asteroids marked in the graveyard.
Yeah, a series of traps designed to break their spirits follows, with the rebels finally following Alderon's greatest secret. I guess this is the
Alderaan's
I don't
greatest
know.
secret is it's where Sheev Palpatine keeps his Dakimakura and anime girl collection.
It's where Sheev keeps his Supreme hoodie. Supreme Chancellor Palpatine.
Yeah, he keeps all of his embarrassing.
It's where his drip is there. He put his drip on Alderaan.
Yeah.
That's why he had Tarkin blow it up. Damn it. So, episode 1 of the adventure is called The Bazaar after
Which
the
is the
ship that
ship.
you're on.
And again, Ithorians are the hammer-headed brown aliens with the red
Yeah.
eyes. For those who don't know what an Ithorian is,
I don't think they have red eyes. They have kind of
reddish eyes.
like a red brown kind of.
All I do know is Disney gave them mouths, and it was the worst decision they could have humanly made.
They look so awful, yeah.
Why do they look like fleshy testicles?
Ugh.
All of their aliens look like fleshy testicles because Kathleen Kennedy thinks that they should be goofy animals. Hey Chewbacca, remember your best friend? He's dead now. His son killed him, and you're treated as a dog by this lady. Don't you love your life?
Ooh.
Sorry, that's the sleep deprivation talking, kind of.
Look, the puffins are. I'll say this: the porgs are the only good thing about Last Jedi.
No, they're not. They were literally designed to be fucking
I
toyetic on
know
purpose.
that's.
And then
I
they
look.
lied about no, we did it to hide the. No, you motherfuckers didn't. Don't lie. You're terrible at it.
I love them. They're just like the worst
They,
creature design of all time.
no, they would be fine if they were just there, like if they were used for not even a purpose. They were just like a thing. But they had to make them toyetic on purpose, and just that instantly makes them unlikable. It's a forced meme. It's like the Millhouse meme.
Millhouse meme is organic. Go fuck yourself.
It's more organic than the Porgs. Why do you think their toys didn't sell? I mean, I'll give Porgs this. Their toys sold a lot better than Rose Tico. You could, or the
Oh
Ray
no.
action figures, because there's stuff from Force Awakens that still hasn't sold and is trapped in Ollies.
Yeah, so they have an adventure script, by the way. They give you a script
Yeah, you
for
have to
this.
read this aloud.
Let's read this aloud for them because no
Oh, sure,
one's
sure.
no one's gonna mind about this.
A long,
First,
long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, it is a time of civil war. A small but growing rebel alliance has dared to challenge the evil galactic empire, winning a few major battles, most recently the Battle of Yavin, as the war rages on. But even in the midst of war, there is time for peace. A group of rebel heroes take a break aboard the Ithorian herd ship, the Bazaar, enjoying the exotic wear of its merchant's crew and its idyllic nature of the vessel. Now, as they stroll down a jungle-filled corridor, the rebels are about to find that even a place of peaceful beauty can house terrible evil, and evil rarely cares whom it destroys.
dun 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 dun. So, hand out copies of the adventure script and assign each player a part. The parts are labeled as first through sixth rebel.
You're
Assign
disposable.
multiple parts that there are fewer than 6 players.
Yeah,
I
it's just you just
this
literally
this
hand them this
design
fucking script.
this is fantastic in terms of like I this is something that it's like I want to play with 5-year-olds and have them have a good time where it's you give them lines and things to do because they fucking love that shit.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of has a similar energy to some of the awful like the awful lesson plan stuff we covered, like Thirsty Sword, but it's not as painful.
It's not painful because it's silly. It's really
Yeah,
silly
it's
to have
goofy.
this in
It's
a
like,
book
here
that
you
you're
go,
paying
just
money
here's the
for.
script.
So it's like first rebel. This place is great. I almost believe we're in a real jungle. I'm glad they sent us on this run and not one of the other teams. Second rebel. You make it sound like you've never been on an Ithorian herd ship before.
And you
Third
have?
rebel. And you have. Fourth rebel. I have. One arrived in my home system the summer before I
Oh,
joined the
geez, it
Alliance.
does read like it's for 5-year-olds. That's cute.
Yeah. It's like the Hammerheads gathered up a piece of their planet and launched it into space. Fifth rebel. Not just their planet, though. There are more shops and merchants set up here than I've ever seen in one
Jesus,
place,
this
with
does read
merchandise from
like a.
all over the galaxy. Sixth rebel. I don't know what they call it in Ithorian, but the basic translation sure fits the ship. Bizarre.
Jesus.
First rebel. Still, what a mission. Uh,
It's just
it's
the way it's written is just wow.
it's written so that you can have like 2 people doing this if you had to. You just have to cut it at the right times.
It's so
But it's
weird. Like, I don't hate it. It's just kind of.
it's so weird. Yeah, that's the thing about this is it's this feels like opening a time capsule to how long was this published ago? Like what was the
1991.
public 1991. So about a 32-year gap between us and this being published. I don't think either of us were even born at this point where it's like this is some real fucking old school shit for us basically.
Actually, I might have been born. It depends on when it came out. That's the thing, though. It depends on when it came out. There's good odds that I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah. So then we get kind of a nice little thing where it's like you're meeting an assassin droid that's trying to kill people, namely miners, and they give you statistics on the miners, they give you just some descriptions about the droids,
I like how they fit in.
and how they talk about how the damage system works, which is wounds. Like you take a certain amount of wounds, then it
They
goes
kind of
on.
assume that you have the core book, but yeah.
Yeah. Then they talk about how do the miners fit into all this in this plan and all that. And then they have some nice art. We could share that art, but I don't know if we should.
So before we do, I will say, yeah, I do like that you can very clearly, even if you don't have the core book, you know that, yeah, they use dice pools because one of the minors they give tells you what their dexterity is, what their melee is, and it doesn't tell you necessarily how it connects, but it does. give you some good ideas.
This,
And I will.
yeah,
I think I should be able to show it. I will have to do some fuckery though. So 1 second.
yeah, because this is a pretty non-offensive picture,
I mean,
honestly.
literally, I do want to
There's a
show it a
guy
little
that I
bit.
know. There's a guy that I know of that does alien bullshit stuff that regularly uses pictures of like Star Wars ships
Here you
all the
go.
time in his fucking in his fucking thumbnails.
Here's a
So
nice little thumbnail. It just like that classic kind of early 90s pure black and white destroy the printer style shit.
yeah,
You're making me feel old, you whippersnappers. I'm sorry, Jim.
we're sorry, Jim.
I'm,
You're
I'm
old, Jim.
sorry. I'm sorry that I was either an unborn child or literally just born yesterday when this came out.
Yeah,
Because I mean, there's a chance I was outside. I wasn't a fetus when it came out.
yeah. Then we get the fun stuff about here's the
Let's reconfigure. You can talk about it. I just got to
yeah.
reconfigure.
We get a nice picture of the ship where you don't reconfigure yet because I want to actually like show this because it's really cool.
Huh?
Where they talk about
Oh, you're
so here
talking about the map, yeah?
yeah the map of the herd ship, which is actually really cool.
Let me
Not
zoom
gonna
out.
lie, like
It's a beautiful
I like
specimen.
this. Yeah, I like this design a lot, where it shows okay, so you have like the middle level, you've got this bottom level where you've got like all the stuff, and then you've got the hangar bays and all that. It's really neat.
Yep, there's the mother jungle, which gives you an idea on what their culture's kind of like. They
Yeah,
they literally live in tribal villages.
yeah, they live in tribal villages on their ships, which is really cool.
Give you ideas for turbo lifts, repulsor lifts. Tells you where the life support is, the hyperdrive. Also,
Yeah,
you like
they even
how
describe like how the Ithurians talk is that they have two mouths on each side of their neck,
oh
which
yeah,
operate
yeah,
at the same time.
yeah.
So
So that's why giving them lips was so stupid. That's where their mouths are
yeah,
on the sides.
yeah.
Oh, also, plastisteel is just the movie way of saying it's made of plastic.
It's a cool plasticky steel that is clear. And there's a fucking Ewok in the picture for the bizarre dwellers, which I love.
All right,
And then they
let's
say use the
I'll
bizarre in this and other adventures. Like there's some neat stuff in here.
one tick. I will show this picture as well. There's some good pictures. I have to be a bit judicious.
We have
And
to be a little bit judicious.
here's the Ithorian. That's what they look like. Disney gave them mouths for some reason down there. I don't know why. There's there's the coked out Ewok.
Yeah. There's a Wookiee, which looks more like an otter man.
I think there also might be that might be a
That
Jawa.
might be a Jawa, yeah. But then they talk about like, oh, here's a cantina, and then here's your village, and here's your rumors, and all that, blah 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 blah.
Gives you all you need to know, like
Gives
like
you
all a
all you need to
growing
know,
young
like
lad needs.
legitimately, all you need to know if you wanted to know everything about how Ithorian ships work. This is several pages. Where they talk about here's a bank, there's an inn, there's a bunch of guests, which there's a sport that Ithorians play called Keltag. I don't know if they describe it, but
Keltag.
I bet they do. Keltag. Uh,
Keltag.
Keltag. There's also they talk about like a medical center, the Great Mother River Hotel and Restaurant.
Wait, an
Uh,
Ewok before Return of the Jedi? They forgot. They
uh,
absolutely forgot.
this is not before Return of the Jedi, but you know.
No, I mean no, actually it is in the
In the
time span.
in the timeline, yes. In real life, no. There's also I love this. There's an Imperial recruitment center on the planet on this ship, which is really funny.
I
They
mean,
have
you can't
a
be
clothes.
blatantly fuck the Empire. They'll just blow you up.
They have a clothes for her uh ship
The Great
store
Mother
along.
River Hotel and Restaurant, which is better than you're going to ever get at Disney.
Yeah, yeah, which is rumors from the cantina claim that Twi'lek is a powerful crime lord visiting on vacation. While he's on vacation, he is not a crime lord. He's an insurance salesman.
Oh, there's a beautiful bit of where are you exactly? Since I'm a bit Merchant
That's in the
Council.
Great Mother. That was in the Great Mother River hotel section they were talking about.
Okay. They also have an intergalactic bank.
Yes, I know. I love it. They have a bank. They have a jewelry shop, spaceship sales, general stores, fast food.
They even go
Uh,
into detail about like some of the weird shit you can get. There's the Ithor Delicacies food stand. Exotic vegetarian food fit for an Ithorian king is on sale at the stall. While this food is edible by non-Ithorians, it's not always palatable. Featured foods are hoi seeds, iwi, liwi fruits, and covado. I love how it's literally just here's some vegetables on Earth that we changed the name of slightly.
they also have clothes for him where you can hear about somebody who's an old spacer giving us a tale about an old Iranian warfare frigate that he saw hasn't seen since that
Ghost
it's a ghost
Yard.
ship. And it's a ghost ship. Oh no! And
And then there's an Ithorian
exotic
just chilling.
items. I love this, by the way. By the way, the shop features strange, beautiful, and expensive curios from all over the galaxy. If there is a Jedi character among the rebels, the Ithorian shopkeeper senses the Force and offers the rebel an item from his private and hidden collection. It is a working lightsaber, which he will sell for 250 credits.
Which is
If
pretty
there,
fucking cheap, but also that thing will instantly get you destroyed
yeah,
just by owning.
they. If there's not a Jedi, whichever rebel has the most Force points will be offered the saber for 400 credits.
Also, here is another bit of fun art of an Ithorian just kind of chilling in his lean-to.
Yeah, he's just chilling. He's just vibing. There's a travel broker. There's the place where you have to go, which is the droid shop to get your talk to. There's a farmer's market.
Also, he's dead, Jim.
Yeah,
And yeah, here's
and
the
then
farmer market. Yep.
and then there's a village healer in case
I mean, you
in
do have to
case you
fight an
need to get patched
assassin.
up. You do. When the battle is over, the Cameraz is mortally wounded, and you have to help him out. And by the way, cut away to Princess Leia. By the way, after your battle, exterior, Quen space station. The camera pans past the Millennium Falcon, finally zooming in on a viewpoint. Interior,
Yeah,
Quen
yeah.
space station.
After you defeat the you instantly teleport to the graveyard of Alderaan.
Yeah, where you're talking with like, oh, here's Luke, Leia, and Han doing something completely irrelevant that is never mentioned again.
Well, I mean, if you ever actually introduce the real, the actual main characters, at some point some dumbass is gonna be like, "I'm gonna kill him.
I'm gonna make out with Leia. I'm gonna bang the princess.
I'm gonna make out with her." I mean,
I'm
she
gonna
kid,
have sex
she kid.
with drugged out coked out Carrie Fisher.
I mean,
It's gonna
come
be
on, she was
great.
so fucking high. She kissed her own brother and loved it. I think
Yeah,
I
I
got a
mean,
chance.
we got a chance here, boys. It's
Let's cuck on Solo. I mean, Disney did it enough, so might as well. I think they made.
oh man.
Yeah, they did. They cucked on Solo because they had Leia divorce him and become a bisexual, which means that she's gonna be gay until the day she dies. That's what Hollywood means when they make you bisexual. You're never going to see the opposite. Anyway, yeah, the hyperspace. You go to the graveyard, which is a big asteroid field. And here's the cursed thing: you're getting ghost signals. There are transmissions coming from the asteroids.
Yeah, there's transmissions, and you got your ghost ship, and you have to make rolls and all that. There's a picture of, I guess, the ghost ship, but we're not going to share that because, well,
It's not very interesting looking anyway.
it's not very interesting. It's like a giant brick.
It's a literal it's a literal brick phone that you use to
Yeah,
hurl.
it's a fucking brick phone from the 80s. Someone was like, I need to make art for a Star Wars ship. I'm gonna put my brick phone that I bought in the 80s down on my desk, and I'm gonna greeble it up. And that's kind of what you got here.
Oh, that's Leia's permanent lover was the Admiral Holdo. That was
Oh
her permanent lover.
God.
I mean, that's
Let's
still
not
not as
talk
bad.
about
That's
Last Jedi.
I mean, it could be worse. It could be Captain Phlasma, where you learned that the Brienne of Tarth, who played Captain Phlasma, that she
Yeah,
came from a
never
planet
showed
that.
her face.
Oh no,
Never showed her face either.
she also came from a planet that worships period blood.
Oh God.
And people thought that the original expanded universe was bad. Don't even get me started on fart fetish wedding.
Well, let me put it like this: the old expanded universe is just weird. Like it has some really weird shit.
Hey, let's make a TV show just about the droids. You know, just the droids. Can we also make a cartoon show about Ewoks? You know, we need a really marketable little guys.
Let's make 3 movies about the Ewoks where there's a family that's on Endor
I mean, it's like
and they
really
live with
cheap,
the
and Warwick
Ewoks.
Davis really wants to make it. I mean, he's cool. I'm gonna put him in Willow. I really hope no one ruins Willow. I could make a good TV show out of that. Oh,
I really hope that Willow doesn't have a disappointing sequel book. I read that book. It's awful. The Willow is a decent book, and then there's the fucking sequel where it's like this. It isn't very good.
I think that's
Anyway,
supposed to be a mining outpost, actually.
yeah, it is. That's the mining out. I was about to say. Anyway, that's the mining outpost here that we're talking about. We're looking through
It's
this this.
Sevastopol Station from Alien Isolation.
Yeah, and there's information about, oh, it's a mining outpost. It's in a mining outpost,
Yeah, I mean, there's
and
the
here's some
docking bays,
encounters.
ore storage, processing plants.
And they show you the map, and they're looking for anyone who knows cameras. And also they have a picture of a bunch of rebels, I think.
The encounter
Uh,
is Kathos Loof.
yep. And they're like, Kathos Luft, does anyone know that? And here's like a bunch of the stuff. There's a laser skiff that you can have. And
Which, if
here
you're wondering, a laser skiff is the thing that
that they used in episode 6, right?
the light. I think it's the smaller one, but there's also a big one.
Yeah, runaway laser skiff
I
comes
think
blasting.
it's been a while. My brain ain't working good. Also, I'll be honest. The mining outpost map isn't quite as interesting.
By the way,
It
it's
is
really
functional
funny.
though.
So you have to understand the miners know that the Empire is looking for someone, right? They want someone named Leia and Skywalker, and they say, "Hey, you should probably leave if you get Loof." By the way, which I fucking love. So the miners are legitimately like, the rebels ask too many questions, and then they will get in a fist fight with you like old timey miners.
That's funny. Like you get into an actual fist fight with the fucking
Yeah,
miners.
with miners.
I think I
There's
just realized what is the big reveal gonna be like. You find Leia's adoption papers. Is that the big reveal?
he already said that she's adopted. Well, the movie already says that she's adopted.
They're
They,
gonna
they they
find the
reveal that
adoption.
she's adopted. They reveal that she's adopted earlier, right?
Not really. In episode 4 and I think 5 to a lesser degree, it's
No,
just
they
this.
mention it. They mention it in this book that she's adopted.
Well, yeah, it came after the 6th movie, which completely
I
changed her
I
character.
know, I know, but still. Anyway, so they talk about the laser skip, right? The laser skiff is talking about this, where it's like if the rebels somehow manage to take control of the skiff, which you can do, the miners will be convinced that these are indeed the rebels that Darth Vader is looking for, which is very fortified if they have a Wookiee, a lightsaber, or use the Force.
So yeah, if you're really uncreative and basically make that series of
If
rebels,
you
you're fucked.
legitimately make like the Xerox copy of the original the companions, where you have the old Jedi man, farm boy, princess, Wookiee,
Well,
and
you can't have princess,
smuggler
but like some lady.
lady, Duchess, fine, whatever. Point being that they're there. There's another guy that you meet called Del Rogos who believes that they are the so-called heroes of Yavin for no apparent reason.
Like
He
you could be the biggest, most pathetic loser. Like you could make a fat,
he's an imperial,
unaccomplished
yeah.
idiot.
He's an ISB agent as well who followed them to the
Well,
outpost.
the Imperial Intelligence Bureau is pretty fucking stupid. Let's be fair. They have some
Yeah.
of the most incompetent people.
You can also run into like a bunch of stuff where it's like, here's your information run, and here's your difficulty to get into these
It's very
things.
unfortunate this mining outpost just doesn't have that cool of an art series.
No. There I love this, by the way. The survey team report. If the rebels make the appropriate computer programming rules, read them the following.
Break
Break
VCD
the
7927. Code
Code
Yavin Kill
Yavin
2.
Kill 2. Imp Scout Sex Serve. Sorry, that sounds worse when you say it out loud.
It's really like the best part is you can tell they're trying to mimic how a terminal writes, but it's just not
Yes,
working.
it's just not working. MB1711V reporting. Our exploration of the Alderaan asteroid field has been extremely successful. We have found the ruins of the royal palace buried within a large asteroid, designated 7785
So
by
here's my
outpost.
question: Why didn't they
How the
build?
fuck did it get buried?
How the fuck is it intact? And if
Yeah,
it's
like I can
intact, why
understand.
the fuck didn't more people survive the big explosion?
Yeah, it's then we get Yevon, a man who identified himself as Bail Organa, Viceroy of Alderaan, was found living within the ruins. He refused to return with us to the outpost and was left behind until an exploration can be sent in.
He's just wandering around like a fucking crazy homeless person screaming, "My planet's dead! My wife's
Yeah, and by
dead!"
the way, with a very difficult roll, you can get this message: Imperial Holocall 235-654-567.
I don't know why you're reading
8K
that shit. It's just
to Darth Vader.
it's the captain telling Darth Vader, "Yeah, the
It is.
operation's going fine. The
We
rebel
look forward to
operatives,
your
though, have
imminent
arrived here."
arrival. At long last, the hated Skywalker will be yours, as well as Princess Leia and the outlaw Han Solo. I
Imagine
await your presence
how do
and
you
bidding, my master.
fuck up this bad? How do you fuck up this bad? Like, you could have a Trandoshan like dude, and like it's like no humans, and they'd still think you're the heroes if you haven't.
Yeah, I know, it's great. I love it.
The
They're like, we don't
sheer
even know. We don't even know who these people are. All we know
no,
are
no,
their
no. They know
names.
because the Rebel Alliance is clearly propagandizing them, and they're like, no, no, no. They're like
No,
going
these guys
full.
have to be the actual heroes of Yavin.
They're going full truther. They're going full 9/11 truther. Like, no, no, those are the fake. They're the fake heroes of Yavin. These are the real ones. Darth, the real Skywalker was an Ithorian because he bought a lightsaber for 500 credits and he's swinging it around like an asshole without understanding anything about it. Because that is something. You can buy a lightsaber and not really know how to use it and still fucking do it. It's just a bad idea.
It is a really bad idea.
By the way, did you know that there is an actual move that is considered illegal in lightsaber use by both sides of the Force?
What is that move?
Turning it off and turning it on again in the middle of a swing. Because the Jedi see it as a dishonorable tactic, and the Sith literally believe you're a fucking pussy if you do that.
Oh, that's actually pretty funny.
Like you're just
So they're like, you can't actually even fight. You're just being a fucking bitch.
That's literally the Sith logic. Like, that's a bitch move. Only bitches use that. Bitch
Get your
asshole.
bitch. Put your bitch ass back to Korriban. We clowning in this motherfucker.
It's
God
intact
damn.
because fuck you. Well, I mean, like, I'm okay with the ruins of the palace surviving. Like, a chunk of the planet just happens to have it, like, part of it. It's Bail Organa stumbling around as like a
Bail
crazy
Organa is
homeless man.
somehow alive inside of it. Like, okay, it's probably not Bail Organa, but still, like, what the fuck?
I mean, it could be a holocron. It might be a holocron.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the entire reveal of this.
And the
Is that
big
it was
reveal is it's a holocron.
the entire time.
Well, no, it's a holocron that says, "Leia, you're adopted. Your real mother
You're
was
adopted, and we never
Padme.
loved you.
Your real mom was Padme, and your
Your
dad
mom was
murdered
a slut.
us.
Your mom was a slut.
Your
I'll
mom's a
tell you
slut,
that
and your
much.
dad's a
She
child-killing
fucked half
asshole."
the Senate. She fucked half the Senate. I'll tell you that.
She was so thirsty, she fucked this incel who killed children. By the way, he worked for the guy who blew up our planet. Okay, thanks. Bye. Your dad's a murderer.
Bye. Your dad committed genocide multiple times.
I love that Leia always knew that she was related to Luke as she tongued him.
I
like
always
that part?
I knew. I would. Okay, the best secret of Star Wars. The best thing that could have happened is that the actual canonical thing is that
Play
midway
anew.
through the kiss, midway through that kiss, she realized, oh fuck, this is my brother, and she kept going.
No, and she was like, "Fuck it, I don't care.
Fuck it, I'm already committed.
I'm committed, and fuck it, why not? My dad's a monster.
My dad's a mass murderer. Here we go.
That's a mass murder. What's a little incest gonna do?
Oh man.
It's legal on Alderaan. It's also legal on Naboo and Tatooine.
Well, Tatooine doesn't have laws, so
That's why it's legal.
God. So to get the
The last
asteroid, by the way,
sheriff they had on Tatooine was shot with 1,000 fucking bullets.
so they talk about the shipcraft you can have, and then they give you a mini game to play during all this.
Ah, yes, the asteroid run, which is a very. This is them trying to mimic the big asteroid run in The New Hope, if I remember right. You know, the odds of running. No.
In
It was an Empire. It was like the odds
it
of
was an
making it
Empire.
through that asteroid
And they
field
they
is
give you a little
30,000 to
game
1.
pieces that can be moved around, and then you can determine what will appear on the board.
I'll actually
And
show the little game board.
it's actually, this is not a terrible idea at all. It's just that it's
Oh
like
no, I mean
it
it's done well. West End's pretty solid
yeah,
usually.
it's done really well, and it talks about here's your battle droids and your asteroids and what they do and how they move and all this sort of stuff and what happens if
Here's
you
the game
collide.
grip, and It's literally like it's like a fucking board game.
Yeah, and they're like, oh yeah, you can be destroyed in this game. This right here, you can just fucking fail and end the adventure.
Oh yeah, and they also give you movements, game term movement. Where do they tell you? And here's the little tokens, by the way.
Yeah. All the droids move according to their speed code. Asteroids move one square at a time. Pilots move their ships to start their skip piloting skill and order. Ships attack with a externary order, and then unless you moved out through an exit square, the next map begins. So yeah, it gets like there's math, and we're not going to go into too much detail, but it's got like
Well, all you
like
need to know is the game ends when you explode it like a Ford Pinto, or you get crippled, or you make it to asteroid 7785.
yeah,
And if you make it to there, it
you go
suffered.
to this below.
Oh, and if you suffered any damage at all, you have to make a crash landing,
Yeah,
even if it's like a little dent on the paint job.
yeah. Failure crashes the ship into the asteroid with any hopes of lifting off again. So you're gonna have to steal one or something.
Cut away to Princess Leia. Like there's a fucking cutscene, which is
Exterior,
very 90s.
Millennium Falcon in all caps. The Falcon streaks into space, preparing itself for jump to light speed. Interior, the Millennium Falcon. Princess Leia sits behind Chewbacca, watching the viewport as real space shifts to hyperspace. How long until we reach Alderaan? Princess Leia asks. About 4 hours if I push it, Han Solo replies. I have a bad feeling about this, C-3PO moans from the chair behind Captain Solo.
Nice
Cut
nod.
to interior, a cave, asteroid 7785.
I like the nice little nod of the bad feeling. You can definitely tell they
But
did
why
the
the fuck
research.
is C-3PO saying that? I don't think he ever says that in the movies.
That's why. It's just a nice, because
No,
Han
he
says it a
never
lot.
says anything like that, but Han says that, which is what's
Well, I mean,
God
there's
damn
not.
it.
You already feel bad anyway because you're going to a space graveyard.
Yeah, the rebels can explore the royal palace as they try to understand the secret that they found. By the way, there's also hidden cameras and holo projectors everywhere.
Yep, there's the entrance cave. There's probe droids. Stormtroopers are attacking.
Yeah, you get to see a picture of Vader, and a holocron of Vader will pop up, and you might try to attack it like an idiot.
Welcome back to Alderaan, Princess Leia. I trust young Skywalker and Solo are with you. Please make yourself comfortable. I will join you shortly. Then we'll finish what was begun at Yavin. Yeah, that's when you got shot by the smuggler and you fucking yeeted across the goddamn galaxy.
Yeah, you had to engage the hyperdrive in your custom starfighter and fucking yeeted yourself out of there.
Again, you know what? I'm gonna show
And
this one.
actually, again, better question. Why the fuck is the royal palace inside of an asteroid? They never explain this.
Here's another thing that I find kind of weird. Darth Vader spent his time in between murdering children and blowing people up and stabbing people for the Emperor to do this, just to fuck with you. What's up,
He, he,
motherfuckers? I
he
recorded this message just to make sure that let you know that you're here and that you can't escape, even though you totally can.
Oh, and by the way, there's a recording of Grand Moff Tarkin, just in case, by the way, just in case no one has watched Star Wars that is playing this, that does this scene from fucking
I mean, to
uh
be fair, I could see Grand Moff Tarkin actually just putting down a holocron just to be like,
to record this so that he can jerk off to it later. Yeah.
yeah, like that's something he would genuinely fucking do. Let's be fair. Grand Moff Tarkin doing that is completely fair.
You killed us, princess. It's your fault Alderaan died. What the fuck is this
No,
shit?
it's literally like I don't know why it's the exact dialogue. That's kind of stupid. What it should have been in his Grand Moff Tarkin saying like this is the monument of victory, the proof of technology and the triumph of the will, or like some shit like that. Oh well, yeah, Vader in between murdering a lot of people and losing to the least interesting no, and losing to Dr. Aphra, the least popular character that still gets a comic for some fucking reason. Oh yeah, and Delusion. And building a castle on the planet that he's traumatized on. No, seriously, there are two planets
He
Vader
built a
fucked.
castle on Mustafar?
He did. He built his
That
death
is
fortress on
I
Mustafar.
okay. Hot take. I can see him actually doing that just so he has a place he can go brood. Like that seems
Well,
like a
the
like
problem
Anakin
is
is a drama queen. All
he
right?
is, but
He
can I finish?
yeah.
I would agree with that, but for the fact that he never returned to Tatooine for the same reason. Those are planets that give him nothing but bad memories. If he was going to brood, he'd be doing it in his essentially life support pod as he's taking medical aid, or he'd build it elsewhere where it's not. Because this is the type of. Do you want to know what the original target for the Death Star was? Tatooine. Vader actually was considering
It's
strongly
like let's
ordering it.
just blow up
Do
Tatooine.
you want to know why Vader changed his mind? Only one reason. Because that's where his mother's burial site is. That is the only reason he held off on blowing it up. If it wasn't for Shmi's corpse, he would have just like. So I really can't see him building a death fortress on Mustafar with that type of mental baggage. Although the visual is cool, like I'll agree with that. Like him having a death fortress where he's just brooding, cool. I
Yeah,
just
like
think it's the wrong planet.
I no, I think it makes sense for Mustafar because he's like, this is the place of my like greatest failure. I must make it my strength or some shit like that. Because come on, like,
Well, no, his greatest failure was preventing his mom from dying from the Sand People.
well,
Oh, and
no, his
failing to
greatest
genocide the Sand People too. Keep that
yeah,
in mind.
failing to genocide the Sand People. I do like that in the Vader comic he goes back to Tatooine and just to kill Sand People again.
Which is funny because again, Vader made a vow to never return to
To
that
never
planet.
return there, and then he just goes and fucking murders the
Although,
Sand
although I could
People there, which
honestly be like, I'm just envisioning Palpatine's like he shows up, he's visibly drunk with his horrible monster face. He has a blaster shotgun. Hey, Anakin, do you want to
we're
go back
gonna
to your
go
homeworld so we can
let me
shoot some
get
Zen
some
people
Sand
for no
People.
reason?
He's like, fuck yeah, let's go do that.
And,
Like
and Vader's like,
Vader,
at first he's reluctant, and then he's like, 1 second, master, because he's
one
being ordered
second
to.
master,
And
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 it's
you
like,
just see him like mainline alcohol into his feeding tube system. I am sufficiently inebriated. Let us go. And you just see them like stagger, like doing a crip walk,
just
staggering through.
I just see the happy memories scene with Anakin killing the flowers from Robot Chicken. It's Darth Vader.
And he's like completely
Happy
drunk. And
place, happy place, happy place. Just fucking murdering Sand People.
meanwhile, you see Sheev's like, yes, kill the children too, Annie. Prove your
Kill the
hatred.
children too. Not just not just the men, Anakin, but the women and children too.
I could tell, like, unironically, that'd be fuck.
That'd be great.
I mean, it's a Robot Chicken sketch in a
It's a
nutshell, but
Robot Chicken sketch, but look, Robot Chicken Star Wars is the best version of Star Wars. You
I
can
mean,
fight me on
honestly,
this.
even though Vader made a vow, If you told me Vader on the anniversary of his mother's death every year returns to Tatooine to like
Tatooine
murder
just
a
to
hundred,
murder sand people,
I
I
could
would
believe it.
believe you. I would 100% believe that.
Like 100%, I would agree that it is something he would do.
Yeah.
But no, he made a vow. As for he did have a Death Fortress gym. I know it.
Look,
Oh god.
I'm saying Death Fortress is 100% Vader.
And he
It
did
is
have
the
one
most
in
Vader
both
thing for
cannons.
him to do.
And he had him in both cannons. I'm pretty sure in Disney it's Mustafar, which again I think it's the wrong planet. But if you went with Vader taking his misery and using it to power his rage as an armor, I could
Yeah,
believe it. The
I can
problem
100%
is it
believe him doing
counters
that.
the Tatooine thing.
Well, the
But if you then
Tatooine is a
retcon
place
it so
where
Vader shows up every year on his mother's death to just shoot
the
sand people, I'd agree with it.
well, the thing with Tatooine is Tatooine's more painful in terms of like Tatooine's where his worst memories are.
Also, his
Like
childhood.
also his childhood, a lot of stuff like that. Like yeah, that's why he doesn't like Tatooine. Mustafar was a place he was once, and it's where he failed everything and became Vader in truth.
Oh,
Like there's
well,
a
also the
reason for
part
him
where
to go back there.
also that's where he legitimately believed. Because remember, he thought that he'd strangled his wife to death on that planet.
Yeah.
That's why I don't quite think Mustafar would work because with, with Padme, that's like up there with Shmi's death. Like I just don't see him going back.
Yeah, so we get back to all this
So
shit
anyway, yeah,
where
Tarkin
oh
doing
my
this, I
god,
believe it.
I fucking
That's
love
him.
this. I fucking love this. So all the holo projectors. So the fucking Imperials have set up this weird palace complex in the middle of an asteroid filled with holo projectors of random shit where they scream out in a
They
million
literally.
like
This is something. No. This is unironically something Palpatine would do.
it's amazing.
I've
They
tortured all of these people. Had them. No, I dressed all of them like Alderanian citizens. I tortured them until
tortured
they
them.
screamed, and then, and then I recorded it.
Like there's a man in a white robe in room 8 that snaps as the rebel his approach and says, "You dare come back here, princess? Was what you did bad enough? Now you have returned to bring back the awful memory of that awful day. You killed us, princess. It was your fault Alderaan died." Then there's a hall filled with like a bunch of a million
Screaming people.
screaming yeah. Then the next one is a holographic view of the galaxy of the Old Republic. But once you enter the chamber, the scene changes from the surface to a desert planet. I love this. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Oh fuck! This is beautiful.
Yes. Yes. Are you ready?
Are you ready,
Smoke
guys?
rises from the ruins of a moisture farm, twirling into the sky to block out the light of the twin suns of Tatooine. You see two charred skeletons upon the building steps. As you watch, the skeletons raise their heads to look at you. "You let us die, Luke," the skeletons wail. "You ran off and left us to die. Let us to die, not left us to die. Let us to die." They have terrible grammar.
No, it's just let us
It's
die.
uh ran off and let us die. Sorry, I thought it was and left, but whatever. Who cares? I am not a grammar Nazi. Why weren't you there to help us? Why?
And
When
you
they
know the
ask it,
best part about this is this doesn't fucking work at all because you're not.
it doesn't make any sense. It's like,
I mean, no, no,
are they?
no, no. If this was like Palpatine's trap, like if this
Like
was Palpatine's trap to like
it
capture
sucks.
Skywalker, it's
It
something he'd
fucking
do.
sucks.
It sucks, but it's something he'd do.
It's something he'd do, but it wouldn't really work because it's like, oh yeah, that's a hologram.
What would have been more funny is if he just like actually put random dead bodies that they harvested from the blown up remnants of Alderaan and just puppeted them like no,
Like
turned
a
them into
fucking marionettes.
fucked up
Yeah,
droids.
that would be fun too. But anyway, they get this section where they're like, oh, they're talking
There's
about like
also the deadly steam slugs.
the steam slug. Then you see the Alderaanian ghost frigate called Another Chance, I think.
Oh no, there's the Council of Elders
The
who are
Council of
there.
Elders who go another chance, another chance, another chance, whatever.
It doesn't work because it's all hologram. Like this isn't even spooky. This is
That wasn't even an Imperial Holovid, where it's like you then have to fight a bunch of other people, which are the salvage crew.
Yeah, it's just
And they find, by the way, the secret is a bent old man stands before the opening mentioned he's enter. Another chance, he says. So, uh, the thing of this is using this, the Imperials are going to fight them, and in any case, the command chamber inside the opening, rebels find a command chamber full of equipment much like that found in a modern control tower. There are even huge nav computers displaying an unending number of hyperjump coordinates. The old man nods at them and smiles. If they ask him if he's Bail Organa, he says instead, "I am simply a member of the Council of Elders who was off planet the day the Death Star appeared. I have returned to do what Bail Organa was going to do when he sent his daughter after General Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm going to give the Alliance Alderaan's greatest gift and its greatest shame." So the another
oh
chance is a ship. It's that
oh
war frigate.
oh that's wow.
That's the entire thing this is leading up to. You get an Alderaanian war frigate.
This is a wet shart of a fucking adventure.
So they do a cutaway to in Princess Leia, then they cut away to the Imperial fleet
So
where
two
they're
cutscenes, by the way,
you get two cutscenes, and
back to
then
back.
the armor you go back to the hypergate, right? So there's a fucking hypergate. There's just this teleportation portal. By the way, they just introduced this out of nowhere.
That was just built. You didn't know
It's just
Alderaan always
built
had
inside of
those.
Alderaan. Yeah, Alderaan always had portal technology, people. So
Why do
they
you think?
could
Why do you
have
think
just
Tarkin
left
blew
the
it up?
planet.
Why do you think Tarkin blew it up? He figured. No.
It's
He found it out.
experimental. It's supposedly experimental, but whatever.
I mean,
In any
shouldn't she
case,
be exploded into spaghetti then?
yeah. In any case, the thing is that they have to go to the hyperspace gate to get to another chance because it's actually got a malfunctioning hyperdrive, and it will jump through hyperspace at random points and shit.
Oh, by the way, the same comic issue had them Palpatine be Anakin's dad. Well, no. Anakin's dad was a mixture of Palpatine and Darth Plagueis. They did the weird Force ritual.
Yeah, to knock up some random chick.
Also, they heavily hint. Well, there's the rumor they're gonna do that with Daisy Ridley as Rey.
Oh no.
They're gonna do it with her as Rey, just so they can, I guess, posthumously exhume the Reylo fucking pairing again.
No.
I mean, that's just the rumor. We don't really know, and honestly, that kind of goes against Disney's kind of, intentional self-destruction MO. Then again, who knows? Maybe they'll actually do it.
Yeah. In any case, another chance is a
Hey,
converted Alderaan war frigate.
remember the time Yandere, creepy nurse, wanted to collect Darth Vader's skin and wanted to screw him, and he just responded by venting her into Atmo?
Based?
That actually happened. There was a comic. It's one of the very few good Disney comics where like essentially this psychotic fangirl of Darth Vader starts going real creepy and like wanting to fix him. And Vader's response is to just look at her
Just
and then
no way,
vent her
fag.
into space.
He just does the whole Leon thing where it's just like, I'm ovulating. Leon is like, no way, fag, and fucking spaces her. Okay,
It's more like my wife's dead. Slams.
my wife's dead. Slams the fucking. I don't know if that's funnier or not.
He doesn't actually say a fucking thing, by the way. He just kills her. Oh no, he doesn't vent her. I think he guts her and then vents her or something.
Yeah. In any case,
She dies horribly.
another chance is was going to be given to
the planet that doesn't have any understanding whatsoever.
So it was
of war.
built to fight during the Clone Wars. It was the pride of the fleet. But when the Council of Rulers agreed to turn the planet into a pacifist world, many felt that destroying ships like another chance was the same as killing soldiers once the war was over. It had served them faithfully, and they tried to figure out a way to spare it. Right?
By the way, you can tell this was written before the Clone Wars were described.
Yeah.
Because it's coming from the point of view that the clones were the threat. Because that is the thing. If you actually, before George did the prequels, the original concept among EU writers was the Clone Wars were like these horrifying monster things led by the Clone Masters, and it's implied Palpatine might have like the Phantom Menace bit where he was leading the other side. They do actually kind
Yeah,
of play with that, where he was actually secretly the clone, the Lord of the Clone Masters, but he also was
yeah,
a major senatorial figure at the same time.
yeah,
Like that part from the Phantom Menace was also like in the EU at the time.
yeah. Anyway, uh, can I just say that Attack of the Clones has one of the best scenes in there, though, like in the movies, which is the what is that scene? God damn it.
The one
The hover car chase.
I disagree because the characters act in the exact opposite way that they should have.
I just like the spectacle of it. I'm not.
Oh no, the
I turn bright
spectacle's
off and
fine, but
I
like
crap.
spectacle's fine. It's just the problem is the wrong characters are doing the wrong actions. They had Obi-Wan be the reckless jackass. It should have been vice versa. So
In
yeah,
any
they
case,
get on the super ship and it's a big ship. It's really
it's
cool.
basically they threw all their weapons onto the ship so that they could just send it away. And it has an basically it's to remain for Alderaan again until it basically it's the if we ever need to not be pacifists again, here's where we keep all of our weapons.
And then it got blowed up, and you get the ship now, and now you got to use it to save the day by getting not destroyed by Darth Vader.
Kinda, yeah. So the fact of the matter is the hypergate is broken now that you're on here, so you're stuck on this ship until you can fix it.
This is also why they assume that if you take any damage, your ship blows up because they give you this
By
one.
the way, they also say that if the rebels want to abandon the ship, they can escape in a pod once it makes one of its frequent but short jumps back into real space. However, there's no way to control it. You'll be picked up by one of Vader's ships, and the adventure is over unless you want to try a prison break.
Hold them off.
Uh,
I'm getting called again. Sorry.
all right. So this entire concept is one of those things where I'm like, it's a neat idea. It's a neat idea for a ghost ship story where it's literally this ship that's been meant to hold all the weapons of this pacifist planet, and now it's eternally jumping under droid control, so that no one can ever recover them. It's kind of neat like that. The problem is that it's Alderaan, right? It's fucking Alderaan, the notoriously pacifist planet that we don't even get like a we don't even get like a good fucking explanation for why the palace is in an asteroid. Like that's the thing that is bugging the shit out of me, and it will not stop bugging the shit out of me. Why the fuck is the palace complex inside of an asteroid? But it was dug under into the crust of the planet, and it blew. It's like that doesn't make any sense. Because this is obviously like the where like the chambers and shit were for like the government were like, why the fuck is that buried deep underground in a it just in the palace, like why? It- like the first part of this adventure, I am 100% on board for weird shit on a weird ship that is like, oh, it's a floating jungle basically. Oh, well, I guess a drifting jungle, but still the main issue so far is that it's like, why the fuck is this the ultimate reveal? Like this whole thing is just so dumb. But on the other hand, if you can get this, you get the ultimate worship of Alderaan, which I they even have a description of what it actually does, and the answer to that is it can actually fight.
Sorry about that.
Uh,
Some guy threatened me because I was talking about the rat again. I don't know. I'm joking, of course.
the fact of the matter is that this ship can actually fucking fight a star destroyer, statistically.
Yeah, yeah. It's
It's
supposed to be really good. And also it's pretty clear you're gonna lose this ship by the end of the adventure anyway.
if you okay, here's the thing, right? If this is like the ultimate adventure to get a really kick-ass ship, that's one thing.
The problem is the guys you're running into are pretty frail.
Yeah, it's at the same time it's also like, but how the fuck are like the why the fuck are Luke and Leia and shit like that involved with this? Where it's like you could have done this as without them being involved, and it would make just as much sense, if not more.
Also, wouldn't it have made more sense to because the palace had almost nothing in it.
Yeah, like the palace is just like a oh here we go. It's
Like the
it's
mining
it's
colony, and I think the opening to the palace had stormtroopers, but man,
there's some stormtroopers in here that you can shoot. Yeah, but the fact that this is
like it's a
like
cool ship. I mean, the fact they can go toe to toe with the Star Destroyer, it like that's
they
not even
even
really
talk about it.
bullshit. That's not even really
Yeah,
bullshit. It's
like
a
it
one of
makes
the
sense.
kind.
You have to and you have to rush to try to repair this thing so you can get out of it. Like that you can use it.
And also, you got to keep in mind that the Rebel Alliance still did have some pretty effective shipyards on their own in terms of assets.
Yeah.
Like canonically, the guys who built the X-wing, they were a major Republican contractor before the Empire, and they
Oh,
basically quit because they refused to work with them.
yeah. Oh, they also go into like the encounter. So they talk about how you
I
can
mean,
actually do
Mon
this.
Calamar is not going to be able to fix this shit. This is way too big for their space dry docks, but
This
you
isn't
know,
actually it's not a big ship. It's only like 250 meters long. It's
yeah,
really small.
yeah, but
When you compare like because an Imperial Star
it's
Destroyer,
like
which
a
is
kilometer
roughly this,
long.
yeah, like an Imperial Star Destroyer is like 2 kilometers long. The a Mon Calamari cruiser is like twice the size of this ship. Easy.
Oh, yeah, you can fix this in
You can
Actually,
fix
it's
this, and
a
it can
little
go
on the
toe to
small side
toe.
for with it.
Yeah, it can go toe to toe with a fucking Star Destroyer as a frigate.
I mean, to give you an idea, this would be like slapping a 12-inch cannon on a fucking destroyer and it somehow not
This is
exploding.
roughly the equivalent of like the USS Constitution. Like you take a ship that is relatively small and maneuverable, and you slap a fuck ton of heavy guns on it,
Oh, I just
so that it
realized, you know what's really cool about the Another Chance, by the way?
what?
Its crew is all robots.
Yeah, it is. It's all droids because they wanted to make it so that if they ever had to use it again, all the ship systems are operable remotely. So you can technically be as pacifistic as possible and minimize the amount of stuff that you're doing. So there's
Meanwhile,
that kind of
compare it to the Imperial Star Destroyer.
look at the statistics of it.
You
It
know what?
could go toe to toe.
I'll actually show you that, since I don't think I'm gonna get in trouble for showing it.
This is some pretty old shit. Like this is
Well, there's also the matter that, like, as long as you know,
we're not like showing like a huge amount of stuff. It's like 10 quad turbo laser batteries versus 60 turbo
like, its
laser
fire
batteries.
control is equal. Their
And
damage
its
is
damage is
fucking
equal.
equal.
And 4 medium ion
Its
cannons,
fire
which are
control is better. Well,
it has less ion cannons, but it has as many turbo lasers basically. And its shields are slightly
it does
weaker.
more damage than the ion cannons.
It's also faster and more maneuverable. It's slightly not as durable and doesn't do as much damage, but it's faster and more maneuverable. It's like
The real thing that weakens it is it just does not have the shot put.
yeah, which
But
is the ion
honestly, this is a
cannons.
frigate. This would be the equivalent of sending a destroyer against the fucking Bismarck, and the destroyer actually having a chance. And I don't mean with a torpedo run. I mean with its actual guns.
This is basically knife fight in a telephone booth. Like this is some short range shit.
Like this
They
is some clown.
the other thing is that it's like they go into like you have to turn back the Millennium Falcon from the graveyard somehow.
Oh yeah, the Millennium Falcon is coming here.
If another chance can survive a number of rounds of combat based on Herbal's astrogation roll, it can then jump to light speed. And head to a nearest Herble base.
better hope you have a pilot, because someone might not have brought one because they didn't expect this.
Yeah. Then you get
Yeah,
you know like
and then the epilogue, if it's completed successfully, you return
here's
the
your
ship to
experiment.
their base.
If the rebels fail completely and are killed or captured, help them create new characters for the next session. They
Uh,
then
oh, the Another Chance showed up in one of the Squadron books. That's cool.
Yeah, they then talk about the royal vase. You receive commendations from your superiors and from Princess Leia, who asked you to join her for dinner so you can explain what happened. Good work, she tell one of your commanding officer
Quick,
tells you, but
now's
there's
your
one thing
chance.
left to
Cut
do.
Han Solo to death.
You look at him expectantly, try to fathom what you missed. He smiles. You have to go back to Bazaar. We still need that shipment of droid parts from the merchant,
Which was never brought up until then.
which was brought up as the excuse to get the information, which sets the entire adventure in motion. Which
No, they didn't even bring
okay.
that up.
No, they do. It's in the talk bit that they have for
Oh yeah, the opener and crawl.
the opener. So that's a 60-page book. They then have some templates at the end with like here's your all your stuff, some advertisements for their other works, including Star Wars miniature battles.
Oh, and
And
again, like you said, like I said, the big reason we're doing it is just because since West Ends is dead, rights are a bit weird.
rights are a bit weird. And this is admittedly a very short Lore Ramblings by our standards,
Which is actually
but
fitting because I was
it's
pretty.
a short book. It's a 64-page book.
Yeah.
Uh, not including the it's a 64-page book including 3 pages of advertisements.
Yeah, this is actually one of the shorter books we've ever covered. Yep, they advertised their
Oh my
miniatures battle because
god.
they had mini theming.
Torg, the role-playing the possibility wars. The role-playing experience of the 90s is here. I think we found our next book because it mentions the Nippon Tech source book and the cyber papacy.
So, Torg, the Possibility Wars. They came from other worlds. Raiders joined together to accomplish one goal: to steal Earth's possibilities, the living energy of Earth. These dark lords have brought with them their different realities, turning portions of the Earth into someplace else. Torg, role playing the Possibility Wars. The role playing game experience of the 90s is here. Torg combines the heroic action of pulps, the magical adventure of fantasy, and the grim situations of future tech into one all encompassing game. The Torg box set comes with a complete 144-page rulebook, 80-page world book, 48-page adventure book, a die, the first issue of the 16-page Infiniverse newsletter, and a drama deck containing 156 playing cards, which, by the way, is an instant fail for me. I don't like when my minis also have to include fucking cards.
The Infiniverse campaign game. Get in on the interactive Torg campaign game where you can lead the counterattack against the invading High Lords and their legions. Every issue is mailed to you direct, bringing you information on your portion of Earth.
You have to. This
Updates to the
is mailed to
Possibility
you.
Wars. New character templates, new equipment rules, and more. You'll receive new material long before anyone else does, and you'll also be privy to secrets and vital information not available anywhere else. But more importantly, with the Torg newsletter, you can actually see your campaign change the world of Torg. When you report the failure or success of your adventure, it can influence what will happen in the next. Oh God, no, not Legend of the Five Rings again.
No, they tried that. The game companies used to try that. What
I
happens is
mean,
the writers usually have an idea they want to do, and then the result makes them have to pull bullshit because they'd rather double down than actually roll with it.
yeah.
Storm of Chaos did it, and it was one of the worst fucking things they could have done. The Cyber Papacy Sourcebook. Explorer France, ruled by the theocracy of Jean Malraux I, a false pope who has rewritten the Bible to bring the joys of cyberware into an uncertain nation. Church police armed with plasma energy weapons and all the chipware they can handle. The Inquisition is back, but now it has a nanosecond response time. The Nippon Tech Sourcebook, the fifth sourcebook for Torg, takes you on a journey to the realm of 3327, encompassing the island nation of Japan and the other parts of Asia. Executives clash in boardrooms while ninja and samurai war in the alleys. Include details on their invasion and homeworld, as well as a martial arts dueling system. Torg products are available at Walden Books and fine hobby stores everywhere.
I have never heard of this. I have never heard of this before, and I'm now very interested in this cyber. The cyber papacy is just something that
I kind of want to, yeah, unironically.
I want to know what the fuck this book was, because this sounds like the sort
I
of
bet
setting
it
that
sold like absolute fucking dog
yes,
shit.
I bet it barely sold at all, and there's like nothing on it. I'm gonna Google this shit right now
Torque the Possibility Wars.
because
Oh
I'm
man.
100%. Oh my god, there is a. You can get the box set on Amazon for, drum roll please here, $19 used.
Holy shit, that's actually really amazing. I was expecting some dumb speculator thing where it's like you can get a
Crown,
copy of Torque for $800.
as somebody said, there's a gem of it. It's the Eternity Shard die, which is like a rare D20 that was only made for this game, and so the people that collect D20s really go for it. But there's a bunch of somebody on Amazon left a lot of a really fun thing where it's like North Africa is controlled by the Nile Empire, a world of superheroes and pulp adventures.
Okay, that's
There's
cool.
a there's the UK and Scandinavia have been turned into a high fantasy realm.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's always been done. Come on,
there's
motherfucker, come up with something more creative.
Players are Storm Knights, heroes from various alternate realities which have banded together to oppose the invasion.
Oh, is that for
North
the
America
is
has
that
been
for the
invaded by Neolithic technology, jungles, and dinosaurs.
Okay. You gotta
It's
throw in
Cadillacs and
superpowered
dinosaurs. Yeah,
mafia. You gotta throw
it's
in
Cadillacs
superpowered
and
mafia though.
dinosaurs. There's yeah.
Superpowered mafia, you
It's
gotta do it.
interesting. Downside is mechanics can be somewhat clunky. Character creation was surprisingly underdeveloped. Torg had to create had characters created around concepts like Elvish Paladin, Doubting Priest, or Cyborg Warrior. The main import players have is distributing points among a pre-selected array of skills representative of that archetype. Upside, it means you can kill a character off and have them back playing within 5 minutes, but it doesn't allow for a lot of creativity.
I mean, think about it like this. At least it ain't fatal.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
know that's such a low bar, but still.
by the way, the name of it comes after the leaders of these Time Lord things, the self-proclaimed Torg. Which, okay, I'll tell you this. It's this sounds like something we could review, but it's I don't know if we can actually find any of the books online. Is the
If I
problem?
can somehow find the fucking cyber papacy book somewhere.
Yeah, like if we could if we could find the cyber papacy book, I don't think that this was ever added. Oh shit! Wait. There is a German. I found a German drive-through RPG version, which does sell this, and it looks like it is in English.
That's actually beautifully cursed.
I am going to link this to you, and I'm going to put this in the chat in case you, for whatever reason, have a desire to buy Torg for 200 euros. You can get all of the books. So if one of our wonderful leaders,
Oh
uh,
shit, I just realized. Happy 200 subscribers, because we actually made that milestone
we are
today.
now at 201. Which I guess our special will be, we'll try to figure out a way to find Tor. So I have placed it in our
Yeah, it's going in
eh,
somewhere. At worst, it's gonna go into a grab bag episode because I'm planning on doing one of those days. Because there's a lot of weird books that I just have that we're probably never gonna look at, like Giant
yes,
Monster Attack
the
or
giant
Ninja
monster
High.
attack is, yeah, like when we're talking about like the weirdness of RPG books,
Call of
there's just some that,
Cthulhu.
yeah, Call of Cthulhu is genuinely just like kind of
You're a house
a
cat
silly.
reacting to ghosts.
Yeah, like it's legitimately you're just playing a house cat, and why do house cats do weird things? Because they're fighting eldritch horrors from beyond the stars.
I mean, they
Which,
are eldritch horrors from beyond the stars, so you know.
makes
But
sense.
as for West End games, the Star Wars books, they are extremely nice to have on hand. I mean, even if not every adventure's a winner, you can definitely tell they were either fans or in contact with the actual writers, although that's not saying much because George Lucas let's be fair, he kind of okayed anything as long as it wasn't too
Oh my
ridiculous.
god. Okay.
Oh, more
Okay.
Torg?
This
No.
the you have to look at the cover for the cyber papacy.
I'm gonna show
You
that
you
cover.
you have to see this. It's a tiny image. I'm sending it to you. Sadly, I couldn't find a bigger picture.
Don't worry, I'm going
But
to look
but
up the
look at
cyber
this.
papacy.
Look at this picture.
Let's look at our boy.
It's 112 pages.
Holy shit. I'm gonna show this to everyone. It needs to be seen. Oh no, it's being saved in some arcane cursed fucking
There's also
format.
a very annoyed Catholic posting in the discussion section for the book, calling it inaccurate to the actual papacy.
That's as dumb as complaining about the Ascension not being a thing in
Oh,
World of Darkness. Motherfucker,
oh,
Cain became a
I'm
vampire.
laughing.
Motherfucker, Cain became a vampire. I'm still gonna defend it, even if it's the dumbest thing I ever fucking did. It was my first ever time running as a ST, so fuck it. Anyway, I'm gonna show you something really amazing.
I love the bit in the back.
Cyber papacy, here it is.
What is cyberware? Cyberware is the body of our Lord incarnate. To possess cyberware is to share in the body of our Lord. Cyberware is the power of our God. Where does cyberware come from? Cyberware comes from our God and has been imparted to his servant upon earth, Cyber Pope Gene Malthrax the First. Why do we use cyberware? So we can overcome the power of Satan and strengthen our wills. What are the powers of cyberware? Cyberware is the power of our Lord. It knows no bounds. This is genuinely kind of great. Like,
There's a suitable crazy. Like I said, this is something that we're gonna have to cover if we can find at some point.
we have to look at this when we get time, because this is like
When we can find a copy in the dumpster somewhere.
yeah,
Because I imagine
I
like it sold like dog shit, except for the ones that had the super rare D20s.
it's fun that you can find used copies for like $20 on Amazon,
Do you think what
but
happened was they overproduced? Like they made a fuckload of books. Like, yeah, this is gonna be the next big thing. Oh my god, we fucking have a warehouse filled with Torg.
I don't know. Mind you, it typically sells for about $45 for the box set, which is pretty impressive considering
That's
the
some
age
pretty
of
solid
this.
retention. Yeah.
But also that it's like this is definitely something that I guess if you are really into West End RPGs, Torg is probably something you know about. I had never heard about it before this.
I mean,
I will
I'm only
100% admit this.
mildly familiar with West End at all. It's mainly just because there's a lot of Star Wars
Yeah.
lore.
The In any case, we will probably cover that. What are your thoughts on this adventure overall, though? Like,
It had a pretty strong beginning, a pretty fun middle. The ending, though, was a big wet fart. You did get a very cool ship, though.
yeah, I think that this is where we can get everything but the old WEG books aside from Star Wars. That was this one site that I did link. So, yeah, because I guess a German company owns the licensing because
So, in the description, I will link to the German company that now owns West End Games. So, actually, we might be fine. We might be
yeah, like
fine.
we admittedly this is to their Torg stuff, which I don't know
We
if this
should
is
be
this is
fine on Torg at the very least.
we're sorry about this. Whoever owns West End Games
The
license rights
friendly
now, but
Germans who probably also own the cooking channel Scrum Diddly Umptious. I wouldn't be surprised if they also own West End
oh shit,
Games.
they have Dune and Earth. They have Earthdawn here. Oh man,
Yeah, West End Games had a lot of licenses,
no,
dude.
no. Earthdawn was the was FASA's Shadowrun
Oh,
companion game.
not familiar with that at all.
So this is actually the, they also have Space 1889. Wow.
Oh,
Uh,
I have that.
yeah,
Pretty fun.
they yeah. So this is one of those things where it's like I had no idea that this existed.
They made in
But
2018 they made a new version of Torg. Torg Eternity.
really, they made a new edition of Torg in 2018.
This
Are
is
you kidding
magic.
me?
This is magical. Anyway, happy
Happy
actual celebration of Star Wars Day.
actual Star Wars release day. Uh, we would not recommend you actually play this adventure.
Um, this adventure's biggest problem is it kind of like it's trying
It
to
loses
shove
the
you.
plot.
It
It
loses the
like
plot.
loses the
It's
plot like midway
disjointed.
through.
It's disjointed, and on top of that, the third act is such a wet fart.
It also shoves you into contact with the main characters of like Star Wars,
Which,
which
let's be fair, you know what's going to happen. Someone's going to try to cuck Han Solo, and he's going to shoot him.
yeah, it's also that it's just like I don't see the need. It's like if I ever ran a uh like let's say a Game of Thrones game, I'd try to avoid getting into contact with any of the characters you meet there aside from like tangentially,
No, you
where
don't
it's like
understand. You gotta have Bobby B get really drunk and like try to challenge them to a duel.
no, you see if you got invited to a party with Bobby B, that's a different thing because the man is going to party. Like that's one thing. Like you meet Bobby B at a party and he gets really drunk and he's like, "You guys are great. We love you." And he's really drunk and the next day he's like, "I don't know these people whatsoever."
Who the fuck
And
are you
throws you in
people?
the and throws you on some weird obscene quest to like I don't know, find a hooker that he banged. I don't care. Like that's the kind of thing that I'm like if you're going to do an interaction with a character like that, that's the fun kind of interaction.
The
Where it's just
problem
like
is when you run a game that's based in the setting, the odds approach one that the players will try to do something really fucking stupid because it's an established character.
right.
Like, for example, the hologram, the holo. Oh God, it's called. What's it called? I'm trying to remember the thing. I said it so many times and I've already the hollow thingy. The hollow thingy of Vader. If that was actually Vader, they would have tried to fucking fight him.
Yeah, 100%.
And here's the curse thing. There's a small chance at any point Vader dies,
Yeah. I mean, at the
which
same
is
time,
funny, but
like that's funny, but at the same time
congratulations.
it's annoying. Yeah. It's like it makes no sense.
We know
Please
Darth
stop.
Vader's on Hoth, so I'm just gonna fucking shoot him with my spaceship because it does increase the damage.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean there is like some other just
Like there's a
well,
reason why I'm of the opinion that you kind of have to really like if you're going to introduce like historical characters, you either have to kind of roll with yeah, your characters are going to yeet them out the window. You could do like a film re-roll where that's actually another pretty fun podcast if you've never heard of them. What they do is they I forget the system they use. I think it's a type of GURPS. They play through movies.
and they redo it. Okay.
Yeah, and they go through it. They play the characters, which are statted using GURPS. And well, the thing is, because it's a role playing game, things change.
All right. All
One of
right.
the more interesting ones was you know one of the in the first Halloween movie, like the guy who died, like in the beginning, like the horny
Right, right.
boyfriend.
Yeah.
He actually becomes a supporting character because
Okay,
he
that's kind of neat.
survived the knife stabbing. And
Yeah.
they change it up like that was a cool thing. Like they change up based on it. There's a bit like the Jaws. They did Jaws. It ended in a mutual kill. The
Okay.
shark killed him, and they killed the shark.
By the way, as a note in the on the back of the book for ages 12 and up.
Uh, yeah, I could feel
So
that.
not for
It's like
5-year-olds, but I can understand why they wrote that introductory sequence for like
kids.
you're maybe playing with a 5-year-old. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't recommend West End games to a kid. No offense, West End games is a little bit more complex than a D20 system because
It's a little more complicated, yeah, but at the same time, it's like for a little kid, here's how many dice you roll. Now count the numbers.
yeah.
That could be fun for them.
You know, it also would be hilarious, although it's the worst idea you could ever do. Hey, little
But
Jimmy, do you want to play a
you're the Wookiee.
vampire?
Oh no,
You let the
that
little
reminds me
kid
of that.
play a you let the
Uh,
little kid play a Tremere.
that
Vampire
reminds me of the
wizard.
time where it's like somebody was like, we were short one for a Dark Heresy game. So my friend's like little sister who was like 9, we brought her in, and we told her we roll up a Sister of Battle for her, and we told her that how to play it is that the Emperor is your boyfriend. So he's like it was one of the she was actually pretty good at it, and the giggles she made while she was burning heretics were very authentic.
Just imagine you get an 8-year-old child to play like you're doing an all full Cane Bro game as the Sabat, and
The
you give them a
God.
Simichi. I think you probably want to give him one of the anti-tribute. Let's be fair.
Oh man.
But come on.
Look, little kids are wonderful because it's like sometimes they have zero filter of like, yeah,
No,
we're
no,
just gonna.
mage game, but you're all in the Fendi,
Oh no.
including the child. Honestly, I think if you let a kid go full bear, they'd play it pretty okay in the Fendi.
Yeah,
Because like the whole
I
point is
I
just crazy destruction.
yeah, I mean, kids are great where you can just give them the excuse of like this
I
is
think werewolf would work best
the
though, because like you just gotta tell the kid you're really angry at the Captain Planet villains and you want to punch him,
yeah, and
and
that's
and
the
they'd be
game.
like I'm punching the bad guy, and it
I'm
works.
punching the bad guy and it's great. Yeah. How hard do you punch the bad guy? Really hard. You know?
I'm just envisioning like some idiot, some complete fucking idiot. Hey kid, do you want to play? Do you want
Hey kids, do you want to play Wraith the Oblivion?
Do you want to play Charnel House of Europe? you bust out the Charnel
You
House of
roll
Europe.
a Here, kids, you can roll Holocaust victims, and here's your characters. Now, how did you die in the Holocaust? Don't worry, this is educational. This is our new Holocaust unit, guys. Why am I being called to the superintendent's office? Why am I now fired for giving the kids nightmares?
I'm going. I'm going to use the teachers' union to fight the firing and drag
The
it out
teachers,
for
you
5 years so I can torment more
God,
children with rape.
with Wraith the Oblivion, the game where you literally sabotage one another because oblivion is inevitable and all things must end and die, including the dead. Have fun. I 100%. We are not gonna. I don't know if we'll ever do Charnel Houses of Europe on like Lore Ramblings or whatever
It,
else because
it's
it's genuinely good and it's
it,
genuinely sensitive,
it
but
is
it's also
very
incredibly depressing.
yeah. That's the best way to describe it. Um, it's not uncommon for people to cry while they're reading it.
Like we've had people that are I was reading and I'm like, oh god, like this it goes to like the levels of like, oh god. There's some famous people that were made into to wraiths in the book, like actual historical people, and they do handle it about as sensitively as they can, which includes one of the
Cursed.
fighters in the Warsaw. Yeah, which includes one of the fighters in the Warsaw Ghetto, where it's like we gave him super crazy stats because when like the stories about what he pulled during like the 40 days while they were fighting in the ghetto is fucking insanity. Like the dude legitimately did some like near superhuman shit according to survivors.
Hey kids, do you want to play Wraith the Oblivion during the Taiping Rebellion?
That would be a different game altogether that isn't released because Asian souls are different. Fucking Guilo, go to wherever that is, and also black people apparently have different souls. Thank you, White Wolf.
Oh yeah, I
Very cool.
forgot. I forgot they did that. I fucking forgot they did that because okay, so this might be something we're gonna save that. In short, Asian people when they die they go to the hells, and they're the Yama Kings, and
And
if they don't do a good enough karma, they come back as literally fucking Jiangxi hopping vampires.
but Adam, why is it that there's no Native American thing if people die in North America? Why is that? Because the underworld of Europe fucking killed them all or some shit. I don't know.
You know speaking of offensive, don't you like how all three of the purebred werewolves are all Algonquin and Iroquoian now?
Oh no.
Actually, no. I think the Uktena were refluffed to actually also be fucking Algonquin.
Well, I mean, the Algonquin are one of the larger groups, but
Yeah, but
it's
it's all
not
North
exactly
America.
great.
Where's your
Yeah.
where's your Muskogee?
Where's my fucking Incan werewolves, White Wolf?
Where's my
Where's
Muskogee?
where's my
Where's my Chickasaw werewolves?
where's my fucking Navajo?
Where's my a Navajo
God damn
werewolf
it.
would be pretty cool. By the way, the Uktena originally represented the southern tribes.
Yeah, and then they didn't.
And then to
Uh,
pretend to be sensitive, this is a topic we'll get into because I know for a fact at some point we're going to cover some of the
We're
fifth
gonna have to
edition
cover
of World.
W5. We're gonna have to cover like
W5
W5.
or V5 because fuck
I
Clan
don't want
Thin
to touch a
Blood.
V5. I don't want to touch a
Fuck
V5
Clan Thin
in
Blood.
general because it's like V5 is it's a dumpster fire of a topic where it's like there's some things about V5 that I genuinely think are like that's neat.
There's
And then
only
there's other
one
things where
thing
I'm
they.
like this needs to burn in the fire.
You only like the hunger mechanic, but the problem is that's the only thing you do in that fucking game.
I think that a hunger mechanic is a very useful thing for a vampire game
No, it isn't.
to
Not
okay.
when it's the only
We'll we'll
focus.
we'll we'll, we'll agree to disagree that if you're running a low level game, hunger should be a big focus. Like the fact of the matter is that if you are a lower newer vampire, that urge to feed should never be far away from you, and fighting it is half of is if not half the game. A good chunk of what you are doing sometimes is fighting the urge to be like, oh yeah, I'm talking to Dave. I like Dave. Dave is my friend. Also, Dave's neck looks really nice.
The
And I
problem
how
is it's
long
to
has
the
it been since I
detriment
ate?
of every other aspect of the game.
Yeah.
To give you an idea, this would be the equivalent of. Let me think. This would be the equivalent of. I'm trying to think of an activity. This would be like the equivalent of like if Wraith focused solely on the Skinlands.
On the shadow, you mean? Or well, no, the not the shadow, the Skinlands. I mean, that's kind of
Solely.
Orpheus. Also, speaking of Orpheus, the new White Wolf decided to completely retcon that game line away with Hunter Fifth Edition.
Oh, apparently they also have their own afterlife. It's called the Kingdom of Flint.
Yeah, really.
Hmm.
Deep Wraith lore. I haven't read a huge amount on Wraith. I'll admit that right off the bat. I've got the Wraith 20th edition copy. I have not opened it yet.
I haven't cracked open
I,
Wraith because it's just the wrong. It's just not my type of game.
I mean, I'm
Its
sort of in the
biggest
same
fault
boat.
is you're fighting yourself. You're literally fighting. It's literally PvP.
Oblivion, yeah. It's also that Wraith has a lot of really good concepts. I guess Wraith is sort of like Promethean, where it's like
No,
there's some really neat shit in it.
Promethean's actually playable.
Yeah, true. Promethean is playable, but like that, you
The
will
only
never
reason
find
people
someone willing
complain.
to run it.
You know, you're not wrong because I'd rather play than run.
Yeah, like that's the thing with like Promethean is and I guess Wraith to an extent is you will never find someone willing to run it for you.
Although, if you actually are crazy enough to run Promethean, this will be the last thing I bring up. Just
Before we head out, because we have extended this by about 15 minutes just rambling on random shit.
well, I mean, it's a short book. I think it's fine.
It is a short
Lore
book, yeah.
ramble. So I will say that if you're gonna run Promethean, I don't know about Wraith because again, not my jam. Reminds me too much of Black Crusade, which I had similar problems with, although that one's a little more functional. PvP is not a big thing for me, but for Promethean, very simple. You just kind of do it episodic as you're wandering around. You kind of do it like the 80s Hulk show where you're just wandering
Yeah.
from like each story beat is in a different location. And it's just like what refinement do you try in this location? And you just kind of treat it as they're connected, but you treat it as an episodic thing. If you're going to run Prometheans, I think it's best to treat it like you're running a bunch of short campaigns into a longer chronicle. Like they're kind of connected, but not really. It's like a TV show. I think that's the best way to try to run it if you're going to do it. I mean, you could do it long form. It's just for some reason people don't ever want to run it. I just figured that might be the best approach. That way, and on top of that, if you do it episodically, you know what you can do? Take turns.
Mm-hmm.
That way, everyone play. It's a round robin. Anyway, as for what we're going to cover next week,
I think that if we go back to Dark Horse, I think the next one is in fact the Promethean setting.
yeah. Next week will either be the Dark Era book, or honestly, I might take that one off. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Like again, everything's flexible. Everything's up in the air. Happy Memorial Day weekend for those in the States.
Yep. Happy Memorial Day. Happy Open Star Wars Day. And last but not least, think about it like this. At least Star Wars isn't going to get demolished yet until they crank out the new sequels. They're taking
Oh
her back.
boy, I can't wait.
No one's ever really gone.
Uh,
I can't wait for Daisy Ridley to completely lack charisma because I can go on and on. Let's not and say we did.